On the last episode of Keeping It Crazy with Britney, Britney Spears was caught on video inside of a restaurant causing a scene before going to her car and driving home very obviously intoxicated. In fact, people who worked at the restaurant, people who were outside waiting to eat, and even one of Britney's own friends tried to stop her from driving, but they couldn't stop her. In fact, she almost ran some people over when leaving the restaurant and then proceeded to drive all the way home while halfway in the wrong lane. Luckily, by the graces of God, the roads were completely empty, or Britney would have crashed into someone for sure, and possibly would have killed them or hurt herself really bad. Who knows? But this is all a reaction to all of the truth that is coming out about her, all of the facts that Kevin Federline has revealed in his new book. You see, this entire time, Britney has been in control of the narrative. She has made Kevin Federline look bad. She has made her own kids look bad. She's made each and every person around her look bad. And most people never stopped to think that, hey, maybe Britney is the problem. Maybe every single person around Britney is not the problem. Maybe it's just Britney, right? And I can tell you that after years of looking into this, Britney is 100% the problem, and she causes problems everywhere she goes, including that restaurant, including the problems that she caused on the road. Now, it's being reported that her sons are once again no longer talking to her. Once again, they want nothing to do with her. They hadn't talked to her or visited her really in years, but recently they tried to go see her a couple of times, and they're afraid because of the behavior she put on display when they went to go see her. One of her kids only visited her for 45 minutes or an hour, and immediately he said that he was scared. He was scared that his mother was going to die soon, and he immediately went home. The other son visited a couple of times this year, but no longer wants to go over there either because he's scared of Britney's behavior. He says that he thinks she may die soon. And let's not forget that once all of these details started coming out a couple of weeks ago, all of these details from K-Fed's book, Britney responded by trashing her own kids again. Britney put on a schoolgirl outfit. She danced around. She pulled up her skirt, looking like a complete fool, and humiliated her sons and talked crap about her sons once again. And this was just a few days ago. And then people wonder, well, why aren't her sons talking to her anymore? Well, because when this book released, it was an opportunity for Britney to take some accountability. And what I mean by that is Britney doesn't have to come out and confirm for the world that all of this is true. But Britney could have had a personal conversation with her kids. The stuff that came out in the book, I finally accepted some of the stuff I did wrong. I apologize. Let's mend, our relationship. But Britney didn't do that. Instead of reaching out to her kids, having a personal conversation, maybe apologizing for all of the horrible things that she did, and I believe everything that was said about her. Instead of handling it the right way, Britney handled it the way that she always does. She went to Instagram, she started stripping off clothes, doing stupid dance moves, just crappy dance moves, while talking crap about her kids in the caption of her videos and photos. So yeah, I'm sure they are upset. But this being scared of Britney didn't just start. This is the reason why the kids didn't want nothing to do with her for years. Because they're scared to death of their mother. And not scared in the way that you should be kind of afraid of a parent. No, they're scared in a different way. They're scared that she's either going to do something to harm herself or do something to harm them. Living with her has to be it has to be like living with a possessed person. I don't know if you guys have seen, what is it? It's a show on Netflix called The Haunting of Hill House. In that show, the mother gets possessed. And under her possession, one of the things that she does is she twirls around, she spins around, dances around, right? Kind of creepily. Britney does the same thing. So what I'm trying to say is that for Britney's kids, waking up in a house with Britney, every day is Halloween. Every day is like waking up inside of a haunted house because you have this psychotic, almost demon-possessed looking woman running around with knives, pulling her vagina out, just twirling around piles of dog crap on the floor. It's got to be crazy. But I do have a couple of articles pulled up that I want to read for you. Before I dive into these articles, though, I need your help. The Yas Queens are back. They disappeared. They did not care about Britney for years. They're coming back in full force to once again enable her crazy, psychotic behavior. Because for Britney's fans, I feel as if nothing will be enough for them until she's dead. Britney's fans want her dead. There's no other excuse. There's no other way to look at this anymore. Britney's fans have come back. The Yas Queens, who went away for a while, they have come back because they realize that Britney is spiraling out of control. And for some reason, that's when they like her the best. So they're going to enable this downward spiral, okay? So I need your help to share the videos because no one else is going to be speaking common sense when it comes to this woman. So share the video, drop a comment, subscribe. If you would like to donate and take your support further, you could always donate via Cash App or Super Thanks. Always greatly appreciated. Now let's go ahead and dive into a couple of these articles really quickly and find out a little bit more. Kevin Federline claims son Preston cried, clung to him before visits with Britney. K-Fed claims he and Britney's son Sean Preston was terrified to stay with his mom during some of the most turbulent years. In his memoir, You Thought You Knew, Federline recalls gut-wrenching nights comforting the boy who says he would cry and cling to him whenever it was time to visit Britney. Every time Preston had to go to his mom's, they had to pry him off my neck. He'd cry, he'd scream, and hold on with everything he had. Kevin said the anxiety bled into nights at home with Preston, describing how Preston could not sleep unless Kevin stayed by his side. Even the slightest movement would wake him up in a panic, Kevin writes. I'd sit beside his bed, my finger resting on his arm, and the second I moved, he would jolt awake, crying for me. Federline says he eventually turned to professional help, a therapist, who quickly confirmed what I already feared. This was not just separation anxiety. Preston was showing early signs of trauma, even as a toddler. Kevin claims Preston did not feel safe at his mom's and also felt neglected while Jaden received most of her attention. So here we have a toddler supposedly already traumatized from having to live with Britney. And look, go look at Britney's Instagram profile. And you tell me what you think. Because I think that any kid or any human being, just period, that has to live with that woman must be traumatized. I say this as a joke, but also almost kind of seriously when I say that I feel like I've become traumatized from covering her craziness for the last 4 years now. I feel like a little trauma has bled into me when it comes to covering Britney. Because the stuff that I've seen and the lengths that Britney's fans, the Yes Queen fans, are willing to go to make an excuse for her behavior, it's traumatizing. It really is. So here K-Fed is saying that at least one of their sons was already traumatized since a toddler. Wanted nothing to do with his mother. And you know things gotta be bad. Because a toddler, right? Normally all a toddler wants is to be clinging to their mother. Nonstop. Especially little boys. A little boy, usually the most important person in their life is their mother. They want to cling to their mother. But even at the early age, even as a toddler, Britney's son was already terrified of her, traumatized. He already knew that what went on at Mama's house is not normal. And we all know that as well now. But here's the thing. You see, that trauma never really went away. Because what I just read to you, that was happening when Britney's kids were toddlers. Now Britney's kids are like 18, 19, pushing 20 years old, and they're still traumatized. They're still scared of their mother. They're scared she's going to die. They're scared that if they close their eyes around her for too long, she may stab them or something. Because she runs around with a knife, she watches them sleep. She has already wished death upon them. Yeah, we already covered all of this in past videos. If you haven't watched them, you got some homework to do. Because this situation is bad. But still to this day, the kids want nothing to do with her. And they tried. They tried recently. And things did not work out. In fact, let's go ahead and dive into this article. Kevin Federline claims terrified sons have stopped seeing Britney Spears again. K-Fed claims his sons with Britney are worried enough about their famous mom that they stopped seeing her again. Britney saw one of my sons one day this year, and he decided to never go back over there because of what he saw, Federline says. The other one, Jaden, who's my younger son, is 19 now. He's been over there quite a few times over the past year, and now he has stopped seeing her in the last few months because of the situation. Federline claimed that their sons are terrified and worried about their mom, and said that they don't know how to help because of what all of this has cost. When asked why Spears' sons don't want to be around her, and what they may have seen, Federline said, "That is not my story to tell. That is my son's story to tell if they decide to. I mean, the things that they have seen are shocking, right? So shocking that one of my sons came to me and called me and was like, I don't know what to do. I'm afraid Mom is going to die." So Britney has been traumatizing her kids since birth. And this is the woman that everyone is defending. And what I've been trying to explain for years now is that Britney isn't only hurting herself, because Britney is definitely hurting herself. But when she doesn't take her meds and she goes off on these mental health episodes, or when she's on drugs, whatever she's doing, when she is psychotically dancing in her living room 24/7, surrounded by dog poop, geeked up on drugs, or having a manic episode, she is not only hurting herself, she is hurting her kids. And she has been hurting her kids since they popped out the womb. We've heard now that she was doing cocaine while breastfeeding, other drugs as well. We know that she punched her kid because they were 11 years old and no longer wanted to take baths with Mom. She was forcing her sons, when they were in middle school, to take baths with her naked. They had to go to their dad and tell him, hey man, we don't want to do this anymore. And we don't want to go to Mom's house anymore. And as soon as they were old enough to make that decision, they never went over there again. Only recently had they tried. Once they were 19, 20 years old, they tried. And they realized, hey, no, I don't want to do this. So she is traumatizing her kids day in and day out. And look, once you have kids, you're no longer just living for yourself. You're now living for your kids. Every action, every decision you make should be made with your kids in mind. Not a single decision or action that Britney makes or takes, her kids are nowhere in her mind when she does the things that she does. I don't even know if she really realizes that she has kids until she wants to play victim about not being able to see them. But, it's obvious as to why the kids want nothing to do with her. And if the kids wanted nothing to do with her when they were toddlers and still want nothing to do with her as young men, then that should tell you that, the problem has to be really bad. Because, hell, at the age of 19 years old, you could probably go to Britney's house. She's a superstar. Maybe she'll buy you this, buy you that, right? They don't even want it. They don't even care. I don't care how much money my rich mother could spend on me. I don't want to go over there because she's psychotic crazy and she makes me feel unsafe and I feel like she's going to hurt herself. So, her kids have been crying out for their entire lives for someone to help their mother, for something to change. Nothing is changing. It's only getting worse. And Britney's fans and a lot of the people around her, they totally dismiss Britney's kids' feelings. They totally dismiss what Britney's family says about her condition, and they pretend like everything's okay. But it's not okay. And it's been obvious since day one when she got out of the conservatorship. Literally, like day 2, she was already flashing her boobs and acting crazy. It's been clear that she is not okay. And all we're doing right now, the only thing we're doing, the only thing Britney fans are doing, the only thing we're doing is talking and passing the time until we, get the news that Britney's gone. Because it's going to happen. It's going to come. And unfortunately, I don't think anything is going to change. I don't think Britney's going to get any help. I think the best thing that could probably happen for Britney at this point is for her to have a complete mental breakdown to the point that no one can deny it and they try to get her some help, right? That may be the best thing that can happen for her because I think the next step from here is, like I said, her driving drunk, crashing and dying, or someone finding her in a hot tub somewhere or something like they find celebrities all the time. I feel like that's how her story ends, and I'm hoping that's not the case, but her fans are doing everything they can to ensure that that's how she goes out. For now, though, I want to hear from you all down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next video.